Hello, this is Paul. If you read the headlines today, you would be reaching out for some protection, some cash protection. Because if you read the headlines on Market Watch, for example, this week, it says, prepare for the biggest stock market sell off in months, Morgan Stanley warns. The prophet of doom predicts stock market will plunge more than 50%. Now, if you're someone that follows the market from time to time and you happen to go look at these headlines, you'd panic. Perhaps you might even go and sell all of your stock thinking, these people must be right. There must be a crash coming. After all, didn't we have a crash in 2008? Didn't we have all kinds of problems in 2011 and then 14? I should sell everything, clear the decks. Now, in my experience, and I've had 25 years of experience in investing, and I've managed a $5 billion hedge fund, helped manage money for a $25 billion asset management company. When you see headlines like that, it really helps to go and look at the facts. And the facts are really, really different. I mean, like night and day different. And I was having a chat with my publisher, and he was telling me that he had seen some of these headlines and he just wanted to check, like, is it really true? Was there something terrible that's about to happen? And he actually sent some of these charts to me, and you'd be astounded. Now, one of the reasons why people are so concerned, they say, Paul, there is an extraordinary amount of debt. People are so indebted. And so we actually went and looked at some of these things. And when you look at debt relative to income, we are really nowhere. For example, you can see we have two charts here. One is mortgage debt, which represents really the greatest amount of debt that regular people have. And you compare that to people's income, it's really at a multi-year low. If you take overall debt and compare it to people's income, it's also at a multi-year low. The other thing that people often say is that income hasn't grown in ages. And the actual facts are is that, yes, income went down into the recession that followed the financial crisis. However, personal income is rising and has been rising and is now starting to rise at a much more rapid rate. So this is another objection that many people have to staying in stocks and investing in stocks. And in general, we've just had our first 4% GDP growth number since 2014. And people's reaction to that is to panic. And that is telling you more about the mood of investors rather than what the facts are on the ground. And the facts on the ground are these charts, whether it be income, debt, home ownership. And I bring home ownership up because the other crash scenario that's brought up is that there's a real estate bubble and everything's about to crash. Look, if you look at this chart, home ownership is at a very low level. You cannot have a bubble when so few people own homes. We really have not even begun to recover from the real estate bubble that burst in 2008. So the reason I'm bringing all this up is that in my experience, when you actually see such a huge divergence between the actual facts and the actual mood and the opinions that are swaying people, it's usually an opportunity. It's usually a time to buy stocks because sooner rather than later, you're going to see the stock market go up. And the reason for that is that these headlines reflect people's panic. They reflect a very bearish, negative, and pessimistic view of the world. And what happens is that they sell. These people sell. They cause markets to go down. And once the selling is done, now to the extent that the news is nowhere near as bad as what they imagined when they sold, or even better, the news is actually excellent and good. Now they and many others come back into the market and they lift prices up. And you want to be positioned for that. So I wanted to make this video because some of the questions that I've been getting from my readers really reflect the very pessimistic, very negative, bearish headlines when the actual facts are actually the opposite. And I wanted you to know about it as well. This is Paul Mampilly for Winning Investor Daily.